Hey drone enthusiasts, and of course a shout out to my friends at the Drone Seekers. Hey, I'm back out at Heroes Park today, and it looks like they had a little some youth soccer matches, or as you Europeans would call it, football, out here. So there's a lot of lines and stuff that might be helpful for this test. But what I've got going today is I brought the Hubsan Zino out again to test that new 1.1.50 firmware. Now, as you recall, the other day when I tested it, my battery came up reading low for some reason, so I really wasn't able to do a full test. I don't know if I didn't fully charge it. I don't know if it had to do with the upgrade process. There was a lot of stuff going on in the upgrade, calibrating everything, and then doing the upgrade itself. And I did that all on one battery. So the point being that by the time I flew, I was at less than half battery, and it kind of caught me off guard there. But anyway, today we're going to try it again, and we're going to try, what I want to accomplish today is take a look at the turns. You know, does it drop, does it raise, and then also another thing that I'd like to look at is hopefully I'll have enough battery I can get it up and we can see if we get a little bit of that yaw when moving forward. And as people that fly the Zino know, that is many times more evident when you're in some sort of automated flight mode, like return to home or something like that. And I'll put the UAV forecast up on the screen here. Looks like we got wind gusts, 6 mile an hour winds, or something like that. Wind gusts up to 8 miles an hour, I think it said. But it's, you know, a pretty warm day, about 59 degrees Fahrenheit, and whatever that is in Celsius. But anyway, let's quit messing around and let's get this thing up in the air and see if we can get her flying and see what's going on. All right, folks. So we've got the GPS bound to the phone here, and that's mostly for automated flight controls. But in any case, I think let's start video and let's get this thing in the air. And of course, we'll do an auto takeoff here to see if there's that Hubsan drop, although I want to add that I don't think that drop is really relevant to anything, because if you're flying your drone, that's never really going to make a difference to you. If you see it going down, you're going to give it a little upstick, but it's something that happens, and I know people are interested in it, and I am too, so let's do that. So automated takeoff here. So there she goes. So raising the camera up here just a little so we can see it. So it looks good. It's nice and steady. Now, as you recall the other day, it hovered like this, and then it fell at one point. So, but boy, it just looks like it's holding its position. That's pretty good. So one of the things to test this drone is to put it into a yaw and see what it does. So let's well, maybe I can bring it back a little closer to the camera here. And so you can see it move around a little bit there when I was moving it. So, but what we're going to do now is we're going to yaw it and see what happens. So that's pretty steady. What, man, I'm telling you, that there was little or no movement there. It did a perfect yaw in place. Now you see it moving around a little bit. I'm not touching it, but that's not bad. So let's yaw the other direction. So now we're seeing a little bit of movement, but not bad at all. I would say that's perfectly acceptable. So hey, let's not mess around here. We're about the right height here. Let's go on full stick forward, and then we'll do a left turn. And as you might recall, that's the one where it seems to, in the past, it seems to sink a little bit. So let's go. Now Now this is interesting. We just got a little gust of wind and you saw it drop a little bit there. Anyway, full stick forward and we're going to go left. Well, that wasn't too bad. I mean, I'm going to say it probably sunk a little bit there, but I don't think too bad. That was user error right there. I went backwards instead of forward. Okay, let's try that. Let's try that one more time. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go full stick forward. Let me straighten it out. We're going to go full stick forward and then go left. So on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, and it definitely dropped. I don't know if the camera caught that whole thing because I was probably too far to the left. But it definitely dropped. Yeah, like look at it right there. As soon as I let off the throttle, it dropped a little bit. There again, what I want to add about something like this is, honestly, how often are you going to be flying your drone that close to the ground? Let alone this close to the camera. So anyway, so I think there was, particularly on that last one, there was a little bit of a drop, but I don't think, as long as you're something, it's something that you're aware of. I just don't think it's anything that you need to worry about that much. Okay, so now let's try a right turn this time. And in the past, what we've seen on a right turn is that it raises a little bit. So let's give that a shot here. Full stick forward, then right. And you know, actually, yeah, ooh, geez, I just hit the ground. Oh yeah, we're down. Drone down. That was my fault. So it fell, and then I hit the throttle, the forward motion, which was a mistake. I should have gone up. So I see pieces. We might have injured something. Hey, we're good. It was just a leaf on the ground, so I'm gonna get all the arms back out here, and we're gonna take off again. I'm gonna call that pilot error. It was really close to the ground there, and then I hit full stick forward, which was a big mistake. I know better than that. Okay, the drone is reporting motors locked and ready to take off. So we're going to do an auto takeoff again. Hopefully the camera caught that. So what I thought was a piece of the drone turned out to be just a leaf. They'd painted these lines out here and it was a leaf painted white. So I thought that was a piece of the drone, but it wasn't. It's perfectly fine, and we're going to prove it here by taking off. Man, there she goes. Okay, just a little commentary. I freaking love this little drone. This thing is awesome. I'm having more fun with this guy. It's a $300 drone. It's pretty damn cool if you ask me. Like I always say, fly drones, have fun, don't sweat the small stuff. Okay, so we're gonna try that right turn again. Let me get a little bit more altitude, and well, I'll see if I can keep from arguing it into the ground. So it's actually going lower. So that time, I hit the up stick, so I raised it a little bit before I hit forward throttle. Okay, so what I'm going to say is, you know, turns, if you're low to the ground, use some caution. It's not going to, it's not always going to stay perfectly level. And the reason for that is that this drone, there's nothing under here. I can wave my hand under there, and it doesn't affect the drone or not. There's no optical flow, there's nothing like that. There again, we got a little breeze, and you see it sink a little bit. So we're down to 60% battery, so it looks like we're good on battery this time. I'm going to say I must not have had the battery fully charged on that last test. So for this test, we're just going to go straight forward, raise it a little bit here. And I don't know if you remember on the last firmware, we watched it sink on acceleration. And there's a little bit of a breeze now, so I know that can affect the barometer, but let's give it a try. Full stick forward. Yeah, and it was definitely heading down there. So you saw me hit the throttle. I'm probably a little more sensitive to that now. Let's bring it back. Okay, so let's try that one more time. We're going to go full stick forward. And like I said, we got a little breeze now, and you can see as soon as I've noticed this, as soon as a breeze comes up, I'm not touching it, and you see it raising and lowering. So my theory is, and you technical guys can probably speak to that a little more, I suspect that wind affects the barometer. But anyway, full stick forward now. Yeah, and it was heading down. Let's get it back centered here. And let's try full stick back, and I'm sure it'll do the same thing. It was heading down. I needed to yeah, and it's rising now by itself. I'm going to go a little bit further out and drop it down a little bit. And let's go full stick back. And as soon as I let off the throttle, it started dropping a little bit. Yeah, so we've got a little bit more of a breeze now, and I can feel that affect the control of the drone. And you know, we've all noticed that in the past, that this drone is sensitive to wind. So let's see, I think we've accomplished pretty much all we can look at there. So it looks like I've lost battery on my phone, so we're going to be completely dependent on the camera on the drone. Okay, so I've lost battery on the phone, so it's just the drone now taking pictures. I'm having to move around to stay in front of the camera. What's funny is I see a little grass hanging off the bottom of the gimbal there. That's funny. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to take it up, and we're going to see if we get that yaw that we've seen in the past with a forward flight. So I'm going to go straight up now. Yeah, we're at about 40% battery. Let's point it out here, this direction. This is a direction that we've flown many times before. Let's get a little more height, up to about 35, 40 meters, something like that. And let's go full stick forward. Now I'm just looking at it on my screen here. I'm getting some altitude at the same time, but it looks pretty darn good. So we're going to go out here a little ways, I don't want to risk it too much with the battery percentage we're at. Okay, I'm turning here myself. So that's me turning it right now. Okay guys, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do a return to home, and let's see what if we get that yaw that we've seen in the past on RTH. So it turned right around immediately, and it's looking right at us, and boy, it's making time. So from what I can see here, it looks pretty good, but I'll want to look at it on the computer. It looks like it's coming right back to me. If there's a yaw there, it's certainly not as bad as I've seen in the past. I can say that. There we are. Okay, she's coming down. Okay, it looks like, as you can see, we're a ways off from the target. So I'm going to cancel return to home. I want to show people how that's done. You just click OK, and the drone just hovers then. So there was a question that I saw today on one of the forums that a guy was talking about that he had flown his drone, and they were traveling his Zino, and he'd taken off in one spot, and the drone went into automatic return to home with low battery, and it landed about a mile. It landed where it took off at, but it was about a mile from where he was, and he didn't realize that you could cancel return to home. But anyway, that is possible. So we still got some battery here. So I hear a helicopter off in the distance, so I'm going to stay pretty low to the ground here. And there's an aircraft. They're all way high up there, so nothing that's going to affect us. But that's one thing that you always want to be aware of when you're flying your drone. Okay, so now the drone just itself went into automatic RTH. So that's another, because of battery. As soon as it hit 25%, it went into automatic RTH. And so I think I have it set at, I don't know, 50 meters. It's still rising. I think I'll tell you here in a second. I can't remember where I set it. Yeah, so I see that helicopter that I heard. He is way, way away from us, so no problems there. So the drone is coming down. And again, the question was, can you cancel return to home when it's in auto RTH? And you can. So I'm going to show that right now. I hit the button and I clicked OK. And the drone is now hovering. So I wish I could remember the guy's name that was asking that question. I answered it on one of the Facebook forums. But there, we just showed you can do both of those. Well, we're still at 23% battery, so I'm going to bring it down a little. Okay, so let's just let the drone hover here, and we'll do our conclusion. We'll use the camera on the drone. So it's kind of hilarious. I see a little piece of grass dangling off the gimbal there. It's kind of funny. But anyway, so I think we've proved that I think the drone is definitely steadier with this latest upgrade to the firmware. It seems to hold its position better. Now you're seeing, as soon as I say that, look. Oh, it was landing. Yeah, it went into landing mode. That's why it dropped there. I thought, yeah, as soon as I say how steady it is, and then it lands. But because of the battery there, it just landed on its own. So, which, by the way, is exactly what you want it to do. So let's see if I can hold the camera up here, and we'll finish this conclusion. So I think that we proved that it's definitely this new firmware is definitely improvement. It holds its position better than it did, although it's not going to hold its position like your DJI Spark, like your DJI Mavic, or other drones that have optical flow sensors. It just isn't. It's not capable of that. It doesn't have that kind of hardware. Now, you could argue that maybe the barometer could be better or something like that. Hey, I don't know. Maybe it can. But it's a $300 drone. And it, as long as you understand what the limitations of the product are, hey, I don't see it as a big issue. It's something that you can deal with, and as long as you know that, you just give it a little throttle and off you go. Here, I'll show you here. Looks like we got some groundskeepers doing their job. Okay, back to the conclusion. So, honestly, if you just keep that in mind and understand, I mean, you need to give it a little throttle. If you're going forward close to the ground, or a little height, I meant to say, understand that. And if you're close to the ground and you're turning left or right, be aware that, if you're lower than, 5 or 6 feet from the ground, you're going to have to be careful and watch what you're doing. Also, it's not going to have any kind of obstacle avoidance, so you can try and fly through trees and stuff, really, but I wouldn't do it with this drone. It just doesn't have obstacle avoidance sensors, doesn't have any of that stuff. What it is capable of, though, is this camera is awesome, and you saw some of the pictures there. It's a cloudy day today, and I don't think I had the settings on cloudy. I just had it on normal. It takes phenomenal 4K video. So, yeah, I guess that's about it. This is Marcus Crawford with the Idaho Quadcopter channel out. And if you like this kind of content, please consider subscribing to my channel. And thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. And we'll see you on the next one. Oh, yeah, don't forget the drone seekers.